you all feel, but I feel like back bends are something that really can sustain us, that they allow for some opportunity for openness. There's a lot of people I know, including myself, who are struggling these days with keeping the heart open because there are so many things that are just layered upon us over and over. Um, so it's important that we kind of remove some of those layers in our yoga practice and give us some opportunity to stay in the open heart as much as we possibly can. It's one of the most courageous acts we can do in the world, is to stay open. So let's drop in now. Drop into your body, close your eyes, and feel a sense of connection with the earth below you. And are you sitting up well? Do you have enough support? Kind of take stock of your seated posture here and make sure that your body is at ease. Also begin to slow down the breath. Okay, we're going to begin our practice with a little box breath. And I'm hesitant, I'm not going to count for you. I want you to count for yourself because everybody's breath pace is a little different. And I don't want you to have to go faster or slower than what feels comfortable and natural for you. But a box breath is super simple. It's just having an equal length for your inhale, for your pause, for your exhale, and for your pause. So try to get the four corners of your breath, or the four sides of your breath, to have evenness. Now, I wouldn't always recommend this as a breathing technique, but it's yet just one more to kind of have in the toolbox to help you regulate your breathing pattern. So first, before we do it, make sure your body is comfortable and at ease. Make sure that you can keep the heart and chest open wide. You don't need to bow your chin or do anything with your hands. You can just be in a nice, comfortable position. And before we add the two sides of our box with our pauses, I would like for you to just first notice a natural length. So start your count and count your inhale on it can, be your own internal metronome, whatever your count rhythm is, and then try to match that with your exhale. Now, oftentimes I think one of the best breaths we can do is a little longer exhale, but for today we're going to match inhale and exhale. When we, in a moment, add the pauses, it's going to get harder. So don't overtax your count. Don't add extra. Just try to be in a natural pace, a slow, steady pace. And my hope is that you find, oh, I wish my exhales could just be a little touch longer. That's a really good cueing that your nervous system is relaxing. If you want the exhales to be longer, if you desire that. And now we're going to add the full box, right? So with this same count that you are developing, you're going to have the inhale be that long, and then hold your breath, hold the top of the breath for that same count. And then exhale for the same count. And then hold the pause at the bottom of the exhale for the same count. Now, as you go around your box, okay, and you have this rhythm, the same metronome rhythm for all the four parts of the breath, if you start to feel like you need to gulp the inhale in, then try taking one number off all the components of the box. And just see what it feels like. Rest the mind, see if you can relax the brain itself, let the eyes soften, maybe close your eyes and let them rest behind your lids. Feel a sense of ease through your jaw, your tongue. Notice if you're using a lot of accessory muscles to breathe, kind of those neck muscles, upper shoulder muscles. Pay attention, try not to have too much tension in the breath. Keep scanning your body for tension that might be creeping. Try to stay open in your heart so the chest is staying lifted instead of slumped. And then the next time you come around to the bottom of the exhale, so don't rush through your box. But when you come to the bottom of the exhale and the pause that completes that, you can let go of your counting, you can let go of holding, and just come into a beautiful, big, open breath. Place the hands together at your heart when you get there. There's no rush. We'll all meet in this centered place. Let's go ahead and relax the hands and let's come onto our back. Okay, so as you find your way onto your back, see what it feels like to have just a slight different orientation to gravity, where we are stretching our body out. Okay. Reach into some weight. Reach your arms overhead and have a big, beautiful stretch. Feel free to, move your hips. You can reach one side, reach the other side. And then cactus open the arms so your elbows are straight out from your shoulders. You're at right angles. And just notice, can you place the back of your hands easily on the ground or no? Just kind of get a sense for how open your pecs and your subscap muscles are. Find a full breath here. All right, and then relax. Go ahead and bring your knees into your chest and rock a little bit, swaying from side to side. All right, then let's circle the knees a few times and just be very mindful. Pay attention. How is your body feeling today? Are there areas that you need to care for particularly well? Switch directions. And if the practice that I offer doesn't suit you, you can always divert from the path and find what suits you. So better to pay attention to the inner calling of the body and mind than to, something outside of yourself, which would be me telling you, do this, do this, do this. All right, so let's open up the hips. So let's bring the knees away from each other and back in. Just feeling into that range of motion in the pelvis, the hip joints. All right knee comes in and stretch your left leg long on the floor. You can feel into your feet and move them around. Feel the compression in your body and your hip and in your knee. And then feel free to have deep extension through your spine. So get some length going on Steady your breath, so you don't have to do box breathing, but you certainly can pay attention to some steady, smooth breathing. Left knee into your chest, right leg comes along now. Keep moving your toes and your ankles and your feet if you want. Breathing well. All right, 2 feet come back, or 2 knees come back up, rock a little bit. And we're going to put the feet down, hip width apart, maybe wider, maybe you want as wide as the mat. So just rocking the knees, windshield wipering your knees left and right. Kind of opening up the pelvis just a little bit, the outside of your hips, the side waist. All right, and then keep the knees dropped over to the left and stretch through your right arm. You can even turn your head to the right. Try to pay attention to all the little sensations that your practice offers you. Okay, knees over to the right, stretch your left. Notice if your sides feel different. If one side feels more stretched than the other, less range of motion, more. And then come back to center. Okay, we're going to bring our knees up so our feet are up as well. So you can be bent knees, right angles with your knees, and you can bring your knees a little closer to your chest or right over your hips, whichever feels very comfortable for your back. You can cactus your arms or have them straight out to the sides, and we're just starting to wake up your core a little bit. Breathing well, and we're going to drop one heel down to the ground and then bring that leg back up. And then switch sides. Now, if this feels a little too trying for your back, you can start with your feet on the ground and lift one knee up and then put that foot down and then switch sides. So that's just a little bit easier wake up of your psoas muscle than starting with your knees up. So you decide where you want to be in space. Finding the breath. So when you go to tap, if you're heel tapping, try not to bring your heel close to your buttocks and then tap down. We want to keep that right angle so that our whole leg is moving. Stabilize through your core, find your breath. Arms can be down at your sides if that's a little bit easier, more stable. We're waking up our psoas muscles along with a whole bunch of other stuff. All right, and then eventually we're going to put our feet down onto the ground. Just let your back rest. Start to notice, did that feel okay for you? Is your back all right? So we want to make sure that we're always stabilizing where we're taking the effort of the pose from our core and not overstraining the back. Okay, so pick up both knees again. And this time we're going to bring our knees out a little bit wider and to bring your toes to touch. Okay, it's kind of like a in the air Supta Baddha Konasana. All right, and then we're going to do some circles with our toes. So touch the toes and then concentric circles. Try to keep, now sometimes it's helpful to put your hands right on the outside, fingertips right on the outside of your knees, so you can make sure your knees are staying put, that they're not moving. We're just doing circles with our feet. Now go the other direction, whatever direction your concentric circles were in. We're going the other way. Breathing well. All right, release the feet down and let the back rest one more time. Teacups. Ground your left femur bone down into the pelvis. Open the right knee out to the side. And then bring that right knee back up. Ground the right femur bone into the pelvis and open the left knee out to the side. So it's very easy when you're trying to ground your femur bone to just hold your breath. So let's see if we can stay inside a breathing body. Maybe you want to regulate the breath where you inhale while your knee goes out and then exhale while your knee comes in. Maybe you want to just try to figure out how to just be breathing and moving. Okay, so there's no rules. Follow what your body is liking. Usually the slower we go with this, the more aware we become of our transverse abdominis and our psoas muscles, these deep core muscles. Can you hold steady in your core and breathe? Then relax and bring your knees to your chest. And let's rock one more time. Just check in. How's your back? Make sure that you didn't overburden with some of that psoas work. Then we're going to open up, spread your wings, stir your body. Exhale, tuck into a ball. Twice more. Open things out. Feel your fullness, wiggle fingers and toes. Exhale, come into a snug ball. And this last one, we'll stretch out wide. As you exhale, knees come in, and let's roll right over onto your side and come up onto your hands and your knees. All right, so as we find all fours, let's start to move through some cat-cows. Okay, so we're arching and rounding the spine. Pay attention to the movement of the thoracic spine, not just the lumbar spine. All right, feel free to move the posture around any way you want. You can circle through your hips, roll through your shoulders, breathe well. And then back to child's pose you go. Walk the hands out in front of you. Relax the base of the skull. Breathing deeply. All right, let's walk the hands over to one side or the other. Just open the rib cage up. Feel a sense of extension through your side from your fingertip to your hip. Come back, find the other direction. Relax your neck, ground through your body. And then come back up onto all fours. Okay, stretch your left leg straight back behind you and start integrating. Pulse your leg in the air a couple of times. Notice if your back sways, integrate your core. And then as you're ready, lift that other arm, so your right arm out in front of you. Left leg and right arm are in the air. Stabilize through your core. Start to light up the back body muscles. Take a deep breath in. Exhale and hug underneath you. Inhale, bring that arm and leg back out. Exhale, hug underneath you. Inhale, bringing it on out. One more time. And then place that hand and knee down onto the ground and let's change sides. Okay, so now we're going to take the right leg out behind us. And the left arm, when you're ready, make sure your legs are stable first. And then as you're ready, bring that arm out in front of you. All right, so notice, how does this pattern in the body feel compared to the other side? Our goal is always to try to create as much balance and symmetry in our movement patterns as possible, but that isn't always the case, right? So just notice when you do asymmetrical things, how your sides are different. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, hug in, elbow and knee coming toward each other. Inhale, bring it on out. Exhale, hug it in. One more time. All right, and then place that hand and knee down onto the ground. Move around in any way that feels good. And then while we're here, before we come up to dog pose, see if what it feels like to drop your chest toward the floor, okay, kind of hanging your shoulders for a moment, and then push the floor away and feel the shoulder blades retract away from, or protract away from each other, away from the spine. So shoulder blades, do it one more time. Shoulder blades coming toward the spine, shoulder blades moving away from the spine. And just get a little mobility in those shoulders. And then find something right in the middle where your shoulder blades feel stable on the back, where we're not retracting or protracting. We're kind of right in the middle. Okay. And then from that place, go ahead and lift your body up to dog pose. Now your shoulder blades are going to change their shape when your arms are over your head. And that's okay. See if you can feel the length. So we're not trying to pull our shoulder blades down toward, or up in this case, but toward our pelvis. We want them to, the bottom tips of our shoulder blades flare out just a little bit to the sides. Allow them to do this. This is what helps our range of motion in our shoulders. Feel the heart lift toward the pelvis. Bring everything into length and space. Ground yourself from your hands. So notice if you lean into the outer hands, drop weight into the index finger mound, the thumb mound, and then hug your hands toward each other so that there's some stabilization in the torso without having to grip the shoulder blades so much. Feel free to pedal your feet. You can drop a heel, drop the other heel, do whatever you want with your legs to help you feel good. All right, and then walk your feet forward. Come into Uttanasana Fold. Relax. Inhale for a halfway lift. Spine gets longer. And then exhale and melt and fold, coming back down. One more time, halfway lift. Open up the spine. Exhale and fold. Drop your seat and rise up. Lifting your chest, coming upright. Bring the arms to the sky. Lean back a little bit if it feels nice. Open across your chest. Cactus the arms. See what that feels like in the back body. And then lift them up again. Imagine you're pulling up on a pull-up bar. So we're pulling our elbows down. Open across your chest. And reach the arms up. Press your hands straight out to the sides. Open up some of the nerves in your shoulders and in your neck. Slide the shoulder blades down the back. Pull your hands a little further behind, just a little further behind the shoulders. Fingertips pointing up. And now while you're here, just do a couple, start small circles. Keep the chest broad. Relax the base of the skull. All right, and then start to relax your fingers. And we're just going to take bigger circles. Now, if your shoulder doesn't like this, you get to change what you're doing. Okay. All right, big open heart. Now, cactus open again, and then bring your hands down. And one more time, arms up. Bend your elbows, cactus, elbows come down, and then press your hands down toward the floor. Okay, shake out your fingers. Breathing well. Okay. We're going to interlace our hands, palms straight up toward the sky. Maybe take the feet a little wider apart so you have a groundedness, and then reach up and over through one side of the body. So remember, when we're trying to keep our heart open, we need not just the front of our chest to be open, but we need a lot of awareness in the back body, a lot of stability in the back body, and a lot of openness in the side bodies as well. Interlace your fingers the opposite way. And stretch over to the other side, grounding through the feet, opening through the rib cage, breathing well. Okay, and then come down and relax the arms. So loosen up your neck, maybe a big shrug up, and then let it go. Sometimes we can take some tension in the skull, so feel free to move your neck around a little bit to loosen things up. We're going to do a little bit of a neck stretch here. So reach your hands behind your back. We're going to grab the left wrist on the right, or sorry, the left hand on the right wrist. Open things up across your collarbones and then lift your right ear toward the sky. So we're not allowing the shoulder to depress or elevate. We want it to just be even, our two shoulders, and then reach into the side of your neck. All right, change sides. Grab onto the other side. So now we're holding the left wrist with the right hand. A little bit of a tug, but not so much that you're changing the shape of your torso or your shoulders, just some traction. And then lift the ear, left ear lifting. Find the breath, breathe into some pocket that's new. You can feel free to lift your chin or drop your chin. Just find a place that you can open up. And then go ahead and relax. Shrug your shoulders up one more time. Exhale. Imagine a rolled towel behind your neck. You can even put your hands there if you want. And lift your chin, touch your teeth. Open the chest. And then the head drops down. Okay. Interlace your fingers behind your head. Elbows stay in line with shoulders instead of out to the sides. All right, so we're using our hands like a little pillow for a head. Reach up a little bit of a back bend. Keep the elbows in line with the shoulders. Plug the elbows into the shoulders. Okay, and then keep your knees bent as you come down. Hands stay on your head. And then just a little bit of a tug on the back of your head. Knees are very bent. Release your hands. Halfway lift. Exhale and melt and fold. Step back to right leg forward, left foot back. Coming into a lunge. Open up through your chest. Breathing well. Let's begin to bend and straighten the knees. Opening the legs up. Feel free to lift your toes off the floor when you straighten your leg a bit. All right, and then we're going to place the back knee down onto the ground. So a little bit deeper stretch through the psoas. If you can, uncurl your toes on the floor. You can have blocks on a little higher height. Lift yourself up. And then maybe bring your hands onto your knees. So try when you come up higher to not sink, so we're not falling. Hug your front heel and back knee toward each other. Rise up from that place. So see if you can open the psoas without collapse. All right, reach the left arm up in the air and over to the side a teeny bit. Just feeling that stretch through the psoas. Reach forward and twist a bit, either forearm on your knee or elbow to the outer knee. Open across the collarbones. Hug front heel and back knee toward each other. See if you can stabilize the legs. Turn the eyes of your heart to the side, but the eyes of your pelvis are still pointing straight. Exhale and release your hands back down. Curl your toe under. Lift your knee up off the ground. All right, so find a lunge. Crescent lunge. Maybe your arms come up. Maybe you've had enough of that arms overhead and you just want them in a different position for now. So open the heart, no matter where your arms ended up. Lift the heart. See if you can actually feel like someone's lifting it toward the sky. Open yourself up. Try not to compress the back body to do this. Feel the grounding of your legs, the support of your lower body to help you lift your chest open. And then hands come down onto the ground. Step back to dog pose. Long spine here. Deep full breaths in and out. And come forward into a plank. Hold yourself steady. Integrate again. Feel all that core support. All the things that we just stretched out long. See if you can kind of bring them back into the fold. Finding your breath. And put your knees down. Find the shoulder blades moving down. Cobra pose. Notice the difference in the two sides of your pelvis from having done those lunges on one side and not the other. When you're ready, you can come back down. Have fingertips on the ground. Shoulder blades down. Lift on up. Open chest. Exhale. and melt again. Up onto all fours. Move your spine around, swish and sway, anything that feels good. And then eventually we're going to bring our left foot forward. You can come up into dog pose to transition, or you can just bring your left foot forward. Whatever feels good to you. All right. Let's bend and straighten the front knee to see what it feels like to find your way into some openness on this side. How's your body today? Are you staying within acceptable ranges of motion? Are you kind of teetering over edges? See if your breath is taking you where you need to go instead of your ego or your mind. All right, let's place the back knee down onto the ground. Uncurl your toes if you can, and just feel into the psoas of this leg opening. Finding the breath, maybe your hands want to come a little higher on blocks. And then maybe you want to come even just a little higher with your hands on your knee. Be really mindful that we're not falling. So you don't want to have this deep compression in the lumbar spine. How can you support your low back? Pubic bone lifting, integrate inner thighs toward the midline, press your front heel down and draw it back. See what kind of support your back needs. And then when you're ready, arm lifting, right arm lifting, maybe a little bit of a openness to the side, and you can have your hand on a block or however feels good. And then we're going to cross that elbow over. And of course, if your back knee on the floor is not happy, you can do all of this with your knee off the ground. All right, so finding a twist that feels right to you. Hug to the midline with your legs. Keep that support, grounding your feet, your front foot into the ground. Find your breath. And then relax and melt back down. Hands come onto the ground. One more time, dog pose. Finding your breath. Open some things up. And we're going to bring that that left foot back forward again. This might be an easier transition. Tell me if you like this better than just lifting your knee up off the ground. Sometimes recalibrating the spine after a twist is a good thing. Find your way up. Reach your arms to the sky. Open the breath. Find the heart. Lift it up to the sky. Experience the open heart. So your back knee can soften as much as you want it to. Breathing deep. All right, let's release the hands down. Walk your back foot forward and come into Uttanasana. Fold in half. Extend the spine, halfway lift. Exhale and melt again. Push off your feet, rise all the way up again. Okay, standing on your right leg, let's pick up your left foot and have a little bit of balance, stretching your quadricep muscle. Okay, so you can always hold the wall if you need to, and you can always wrap a strap around your ankle if you can't reach your foot. Okay, and reach that arm up, right arm lifts, descend the knee in the air, descend it. Tailbone descends as well. Open the chest, maybe kick forward just a little bit. So there is a back bend here, but we're not just compressing in our lumbar spine. Feel that support of your core helping you. You don't have to go very far, and you can go very far. Your choice. Okay, come back up. Place that foot down onto the ground. Close your eyes for a moment. Enjoy your 2 feet on the floor. Deep breath in. Deep breath away. Okay, let's grab onto your foot, the other foot. So now we're standing on our left leg, grabbing onto our right foot. Use a strap, use a wall, whatever you need. First, just enjoy the quadricep. Notice, are your sides different? Do you feel more open or less open on one side or the other? Descend the tailbone, lift the pubic bone, soften the knee you're standing on so that you're not hyperextended, and be mindful to not hike the hip out, draw it in. Reach that arm up. Everything faces forward instead of turning to the right. So stay facing forward with your chest and your pelvis. Tip forward, kick your foot into your hand. Find your breath. Dancer pose to wherever your body is able to be. Feel the muscles along your spine and core supporting you. The glutes of your standing leg are on. Rise back up. Place that foot down onto the ground and pause here for a moment. Just enjoy grounding yourself. Okay, inhale, lifting the arms to the sky. We're going to step our left foot back, right foot forward into Vera 1. So heel is down on the ground now. Lean forward. Maybe your hands interlace. Maybe your hands are wide apart. Maybe they're out to the side or down. Your choice, okay? Extend through the spine. Stay low. Feel the grounding of your back foot. Use your core. And as you rise up, be very mindful that we're not sinking and collapsing into the low back. Rise up out of the pelvis. Ground through your feet. Feel that root to rise. Open your chest. A little thoracic back bend is awesome, but try to stay out of the sinking in your low back. Breathing well. Exhale, hands come down onto blocks, half splits. Lift that leg in the air, extend the spine, square hips here. Find your breath. All right, when you're ready, squat onto that one leg. Maybe see what balance feels like. Maybe your arms can come out to the side or palms together. Maybe you keep your hands down. Okay, and then we're going to climb back up. Half splits again. Step your foot all the way back. Heel comes down. Rise up again. Maybe a different position with your arms. Maybe the same. Open the breath. Okay, and then exhale. Hands down onto the ground. Dog pose. Full breaths here. Deep inhale. Full exhale. Lift the left leg up in the air. Exhale and bring that foot through. Plant the back heel down onto the ground. Start low. Do you want your arms back behind you, out in front of you, out to the sides, hands to the heart? Support yourself. So we want our back to feel supported by our front. We want the breath to be with us. Okay, and rise up with whatever hand position is supporting you. Make sure you're not sinking into the low back. Feel the back bend in your upper back. Ground into your feet. Root to rise. Stay inside your breathing. And then exhale and bring your hands forward up onto the blocks. Square hips. Extend your spine. Breathing deeply. When you're ready, we're going to squat, one-legged squat. Tuck your foot behind or knee behind your knee. Maybe your balance can take your hands off the blocks. Maybe one hand is on a block. Maybe two hands stay on blocks. Your choice. Okay, and then we're going to put our hands back down. Press out to half lift again, or half splits, I should say. Big giant step back. Hands coming where you want them to be. Rising up, Vera 1. Both feet into the ground. Feel them, root them. Hands down, dog pose. Full breaths here. Feel the back body open. Deep inhale. Deep exhale. Come forward into a plank. Find your breath. All right, bend your knees. Lower yourself to the ground. Inhale, cobra pose again. Exhale, and melt back down. Here, we're going to take our hands wide, palms down, extend as you lift your chest. Now reach your legs, maybe one, then the other, then both. Find the breathing. So back bends don't have to be extreme to help you keep your heart broad and open. Relax and melt. Come up onto all fours. Move your spine about. Nourish things. Okay. Forearms come down onto the ground. We're going to lift our hips and come into Dolphin Pose. So feel that sense of stability across your shoulders, across your rib cage. So we're finding where is the musculature coming from? We want our serratus muscles right around our ribs to really be supportive. Hug your forearms toward each other a bit on the mat. Lift upward, heart lifting toward pelvis. Find the breath. And then we're going to slowly walk our feet down, back. Okay. Then integrate into the core. Find the forearm plank here. Shoulder blades are away from the ears. You can always put your knees down onto the ground if you need to. Find your breath. All right, and then when you're ready, lower yourself down to the ground. Any back bend of your choice. You choose a pathway. All right, and then come back down. Bring your palms onto the ground next to your hips, palms facing the floor. Start to engage your triceps. Okay. We're going to lift our shoulders away from the ears, away from the ground, and we're going to lift our legs, chest, arms, everything comes up. The back of the body is strong, the neck is relaxed. Feel your glutes, feel the muscles along your spine. Turn everything on. Breathe. And then exhale and relax and melt. Pick up, turn your head one side to the other, pick up your feet and windshield wiper them left and right. All right, let's go ahead and find blankets, blocks, whatever you're going to want to put, maybe even a bolster underneath your pelvis. We're going to do just a simple psoas stretch here. So we're going to come down onto our back with a blanket or block or bolster under our pelvis. Okay. All right, so just a little supported bridge. We are going to do bridge pose in just a moment, but first this. Heels down onto the ground. We're going to stretch our right leg straight with our heel down on the ground. And if you want, you can stretch your arms overhead. You do not have to stretch your arms overhead. Now, if you're on a hefty height, this is a big stretch for your psoas. If you're on a medium height, you just go where you go for your right psoas. Now, if you're like, I don't feel much, you can always pick up your left knee and bring it toward your chest. You can wrap a strap around your shin so that you have a little more ease in your upper body. You can do anything, any depth of this posture that feels good. So we're still stabilizing through our core, the pubic bones lifting a bit toward the belly button. All right, release and switch sides. So you can either have the right foot on the ground and, make sure that the blankets are under your pelvis and not under your low back. Your left foot is on the ground, heel straight with heel on the ground. Your right foot is bent, or right knee is bent, your foot is on the floor. This might be enough for you. If you're like, I want a little bit more, then you can either wrap a strap around your shin or you can grab onto your knee with your hands. So you just do you, whichever feels nice. Do not overstretch. You want to make sure that your back is in a safe, good place. I find this easier on blankets than on a block. ahead and relax 2 feet onto the ground. Okay, bring your knees up toward your chest just for a moment. Knees can be wide, knees can be in, whichever feels good to your body. A little bit of traction since you're still up on those blankets. All right, and then place your feet down onto the ground where you can, if you want, just slide the props out from underneath you. We're going to climb up onto the tops of the shoulders and come into a full bridge. Ground through the 4 corners of your feet. Activate your legs. So we want some energy in our hamstrings, our glutes, our inner thighs, our quads, our outer hips. Get all your muscles to turn on. If you're feeling like something's not turning on, remember the positions of your feet. If you push your feet away from your chest, your quads will turn on. If you pull your feet toward your torso, your hamstrings and glutes will turn on. If you pull your feet toward each other, your inner thighs will turn on. If you pull your feet away from each other, your outer hips will turn on. So notice the weak link for you and use the effort of your feet accordingly. If you feel like everything's turned on, just 4 corners of feet pressing into the earth. Neck is soft, breath is deep. And then melt and relax. We're going to windshield wiper our knees. As your knees go left, turn your head right. As your knees go right, turn your head left. Breathing deeply. All right, let's roll over onto your side. You're going to use either 1 or 2 blocks. So the block is going to be this way, across your back, and we're going to lay on it. You can have the other block, if you need one, underneath your head at the same height. If you don't need a block, maybe just a blanket will do. Maybe nothing will do. See what feels good? We're going to have that block in between our shoulder blades. If your head is okay hanging back and coming down onto the ground, that's a choice. If you need support under your head, blanket or block is your choice. Okay, so now experiment with some different movements depending on what your shoulders are capable of today. So we want this to be a thoracic back bend. We want to open up our thoracic spine, feel the heart spread. So you get to decide, do you want your arms overhead? Do you want your arms cactused or teed out to the side? Would you rather have your arms down at your sides? So find a pathway that opens your heart best, that does not tax your shoulders. You can also interlace your elbows and stretch your arms overhead. So our goal here is to open the heart, to not stress the shoulders. So choose a pathway. Is your head supported enough? Once you're comfortable, breathe deeply. Open up the ribs. All right, remove your arms down at your sides, bend your knees. Remember you're on a perch. So as you roll over onto your side, be very mindful. You can grab that block and stick it under your head for a moment and just rest on your side. Let your back relax. Okay, we're going to twist here. So I'm not sure which side you're on. If you're on your right side, I'll cue from that. You want your knees and at right ankles. You want your hands out from your shoulders, palms together. Take a deep breath in. You can open up. You can take that prop underneath your head with you or remove it. Don't worry about your knees sliding apart. Let them open the chest. And then bring your arms back, come close your book, palms together, and we're gonna roll right over onto the other side. So whichever side that is for you, We're stacking our hips, we're stacking our knees and our ankles, everything's at right angles, palms are together. And then when you're ready, take a deep breath, open things up and bring that hand to the opposite side. So we're twisting open, let the knees move away from each other. This will create ease for your thoracic spine to open a bit more. Big breath in, breath out. Close the book, roll back over. Okay. We're going to roll all the way over onto our side and come up. We're going to find our way into Pigeon Pose. Of course, reverse Pigeon Pose is available. But before you do that, everybody sit up for a moment in Virasana. You can sit on your heels or on a block or whatever you're sitting on. Just notice the reset point of the chest. Is it a little easier to keep the open heart, to not slouch? Does slouching feel weird to you now? Okay. Do your collarbones naturally spread out like highways? Do your arms feel like they are in the back seat, that they don't have to be in the front seat? All right, let's enjoy that openness and let's try not to ruin it in Pigeon Pose. Okay, so it might be a good day for, actually, let's all do reverse Pigeon Pose. I mean, if you're really inclined to Pigeon Pose, do it, but how I would love for you to do reverse Pigeon Pose today is with your foot against a wall or a piece of furniture. This will ensure that we stay open and keep that blessed openness in our chest we just created. So left foot on a wall or a piece of furniture, right foot on top of left knee, and come into reverse Pigeon Pose with your chest broad, your back resting on the ground, the back of your head is heavy. So there's no need to bring your arms forward to pull your knee toward your chest. Let the wall do the work so you can stay open. Let it imprint a little bit longer. Stretch open your hip, melt your body. Wide sit bones, nice neutral lumbar curve, so we're not compressing our low back into the ground. And as you're ready, switch sides. Take your right foot on the wall or furniture. Your left foot is on your right knee, right below or right above your knee. All right, so you can move further away from the wall to lessen the stretch. You can even put your foot on the ground or your foot on a block to lessen the stretch. To deepen the stretch, move your whole body toward the wall a little bit more. All right, so rest yourself here, relax. Breathing deeply. Wide sit bones, a neutral lumbar curve. Rest the head, rest the shoulders. Let's go ahead and relax. Bring your knees to your chest and rock. And then we're going to find whatever you need to prepare for Shavasana. So if you need a little happy baby pose or anything that's supportive, you do that. And then as you come into Shavasana, it might feel really nice to have some support underneath your knees today. Yeah, maybe not. Maybe you'd prefer to lay flat, but it might feel good to have some blankets or a bolster underneath your knees. Okay, so Shavasana is such an important aspect of our practice. Be present for it. As you start to find yourself lying down on the ground, start to notice, are any of my limbs less weighted than the other? Can you rest the back of your head? Can you rest within the open heart, that it doesn't have to be something to push or force? We're not prying open a cage. We're just resting in the open heart. Keep discovering your breath. Let your body melt. Long, steady exhales. Begin to deepen our breathing again. Allow yourself to have a bit of movement. Eventually coming onto your side. Lift yourself up to sit as you're ready. Bring your hands together. See if you can keep the open heart. Share the open heart. Your courage, your compassion, your love, your ability to listen, be present. These are all heart spaces. Let's offer. Namaste. Thank you.